There's something happening right now that you might be dismissing as coincidence. You keep seeing the same numbers on your clock. A song that perfectly captures your mood plays everywhere you go. Someone mentions exactly what you've been thinking about. Your phone buzzes with a message that feels like it was written just for you. And maybe, just maybe, you've been brushing these moments off as random noise in a chaotic world. But what if I told you that none of this is random? What if these seemingly small synchronicities are actually the universe's way of preparing you for something massive? Not in some mystical, woo-woo sense, but in the most practical, life-changing way possible. Because here's what most people don't realize. Right before every major life transition, right before one chapter ends and another begins, the universe starts dropping breadcrumbs, little signs, gentle nudges, persistent patterns trying to get your attention. You see, we live in a world that trained us to ignore whispers. We're so busy chasing the next milestone, the next achievement, the next distraction, that we miss the subtle intelligence constantly communicating with us. But the people who learn to recognize these signals, those who understand what the universe is trying to tell them, are the ones who seem to flow effortlessly from one life phase to the next. They're the ones who always seem to be in the right place at the right time. And right now, if you're watching this video, if these words are hitting you in a way that feels familiar, then chances are you're standing at the edge of one of these transitions yourself. The universe has been trying to get your attention, hasn't it? Through repeated patterns, through dreams that linger long after waking, through conversations that feel too perfectly timed to be accidental. Let me ask you something. Have you been feeling restless lately? Like something beneath the surface is shifting, but you can't quite name it. Have you been thinking about people from your past? Or feeling drawn to places that hold meaning you can't explain? Have you been noticing themes in your life? The same lessons showing up in different forms, again and again and again? That's not your imagination playing tricks on you. That's the universe saying, something is about to shift, something is about to complete, and you're being given time to prepare. Think of it like this. Before a storm arrives, animals sense it long before humans do. They move to higher ground. They seek shelter. They respond to signals invisible to us, but obvious to them. The universe does the same with your life. It sends signals, creates patterns, orchestrates encounters, prepares you for the change already unfolding inside you. But here's where it gets interesting. The universe doesn't just send random signs. It sends you what you're ready for, in the language you understand. If you notice numbers, it sends number sequences. If you connect through music, the right songs chase you. If you understand people, the right conversations echo your inner world. The key isn't decoding everything. It's recognizing what feels different when it arrives. The meaningful signs don't shout. They settle. They make you pause. They feel like recognition, like a truth you already knew but forgot to claim. Now listen closely. The universe isn't only showing you what's coming, it's also showing you what needs to end, what needs to release, what needs to complete before the new chapter fully opens. And yes, this is where it gets uncomfortable, because endings feel like loss before they feel like freedom. You might sense relationships changing. Not wrong, not bad, just no longer fitting. Conversations that once fed you now drain you. Places that felt like home now feel like museums of your past self. Armor that once protected you now weighs you down. This is not collapse. This is completion. This is expansion making room. And expansion never feels spacious at first. It feels empty. It feels uncertain. It feels like standing between radio stations, hearing static, until you finally tune to the frequency meant for your next evolution. You might feel lonely during this phase, not physically, but internally, because you're changing in ways others can't see yet. They might say, "Why are you overthinking? Why are you so emotional now? Why can't you just go back to how you were?" But you can't, because you already crossed the threshold. Awareness has shifted. Tolerance for what doesn't align has dissolved. The ability to pretend is gone. No return, only forward. And forward means trust. Not blind trust, but the kind that says, I have survived storms before. I can survive the next one too. But this time, I walk differently. You don't force the river, you learn its current. That's the secret most people take a lifetime to understand. Not every forceful thing is strong, and not every yielding thing is weak. The world taught you that power looks like pushing, gripping, conquering, controlling. That power means muscling through the resistance until the world bends to your will. But the river never bends. The river is ancient wisdom in motion. It does not negotiate with force, and it does not reward exhaustion. It only responds to those who respect its flow. So when I say you learn its current, I don't mean you give up. I mean you upgrade. You stop fighting reality and start understanding it. You stop acting like life is a problem to be wrestled into submission and start treating it like a partner that wants to move with you, if you let it. Cooperation is not passive. It is strategic surrender. It is intelligent participation. It is looking at the wave instead of the wall and realizing the wave was always moving forward. You were just trying to swim against it. Inside you, right now, something is already in motion. Your transformation is not a future event waiting to be approved by fate. It is a quiet, internal revolution that began long before you gave it permission. It began when you felt restless without reason. It began when your old life started feeling smaller than your awareness. It began when you realized you were tired of being strong in ways that demanded your silence. You thought you were stuck. You thought you were waiting. You thought you needed more time. But what you were actually doing was resisting the very shift that had already started changing you from the inside out. Your participation becomes the key that unlocks external alignment. Not your perfection, not your readiness score, not your emotional resume of healed wounds and heroic breakthroughs, just your participation, just your willingness to stop pretending you don't know what's happening and to start acting like someone who finally does. And alignment will respond back, not before you move, but because you moved, not because the universe is transactional, but because it is responsive. It mirrors motion, not intention. It meets action, not hesitation. It rewards courage, not contemplation. Now, before we go deeper, here's the moment I want to insert something powerful, something that turns a passive viewer into an active participant. If this hit you, if you felt that inner nudge of recognition, stop for 2 seconds and do this. Go to the comments and type, "This is the sign." Yes, that's it. Because that question is irresistible. It hooks curiosity. It opens loops in other minds. It invites strangers to see themselves in your moment. It makes them lean forward instead of scroll away. And most importantly, it triggers engagement. People will respond. They will share their own signs. They will compare synchronicities. They will start threads that ripple beyond this video. Do it now. Not for me, not for motivation, not for spiritual theatrics. Do it for the algorithm, for your nervous system, for the moment you stop being a silent witness and become part of the unfolding story. Because healing is powerful, but community is magnetic. Now back to you. The universe doesn't need your perfection. It needs your readiness. It doesn't need your answers. It needs your awareness that you already have them. It doesn't need your flawless execution. It needs your first step. The universe saw your restlessness as a signal. You saw synchronicity as noise. You interpreted patterns as coincidence. You thought repetition was malfunction. You thought the discomfort was punishment. You thought the waiting room meant you were late. But today, maybe for the first time, you're realizing none of this was happening to me. It was happening for me. Not romantically, not poetically, but practically. Because you don't level up when life feels easy. You level up when life stops feeling negotiable, when the old self expires, when old identities shrink, when coping mechanisms collapse. when distraction no longer distracts, when numbing stops working, when you feel the gravitational pull of a new chapter but can't see its blueprint yet. That phase, the one you thought was confusion, was actually calibration. The puzzle wasn't missing a piece. You were missing the moment you finally used the piece. And that moment is now. The new chapter already began quietly, behind your resistance. While you were bargaining with the past, the future was already rearranging your insides. While you were rehearsing bravery, your awareness was already sharpening. While you were collecting wisdom, your spirit was preparing embodiment. While you were waiting for external permission, your internal truth had already signed the papers. And now resistance is done. Not because you defeated it, but because you finally understood it. You finally read the signs not as coincidence, but as invitation. Letting go is not losing. It's clearing the runway. It's not erasing your story. It's stopping the story from imprisoning you. It's not saying, I don't care anymore. It's saying, I care about what's next more than what hurt me. It's not abandonment. It's evolution. It's unclenching your fist so life can place something new into your open palm. You are not releasing because you are weak. You are releasing because you are ready to receive differently. So this is where we part ways. Not forever, not symbolically, not dramatically, just long enough for you to stop watching yourself grow and start living the growth you already absorbed. Because the revolution isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It doesn't explode. It doesn't announce itself like an achievement unlocked. It doesn't roar. It unfolds, like a seed realizing it was always meant to break open underground before becoming a tree. Like winter loosening its grip not in one moment, but in a gradual thaw. Like a sunrise that looks gentle until you realize darkness is completely gone. And it's unfolding now, not because you suddenly became a different person, but because you finally stopped resisting the person you were already becoming. Because you finally realized that transformation is not a lightning strike. It's a slow electrical current that rewires you quietly until you notice you are thinking differently, breathing differently, choosing differently, reacting differently, and living differently. The universe has been arranging this moment for you, and now you are arranging yourself for the universe. You were not late. You were not lost. You were not missing anything. You were incubating. And incubation feels a lot like emptiness until you realize it was fullness gathering itself privately. So if this message anchored itself in you, don't let it drift away without becoming action. Because the era of learning without doing, that was the old chapter. And the new one? It begins only when you embody, only when you enact, only when you stop being a museum of insights and start becoming a living expression of them. The river is moving, and you finally are too.